Many of them have to do with natural resources. We are going to be efficient. The policy is masks are not required, but are optional. Some you will see with the mask, some without. You will sometimes see some seats vacant because people are testifying on their bills in other committees. Their absence from our committee doesn't mean they're not working in the complex. With that, okay. We're going to start with Senate Bill 220, Calvert County Senators Sunday hunting, followed by Senator Bailey, recreational private land hunting 582. Senator Bailey will be followed by Senator Eckert. And then I see Senator Jackson. So we'll go in that order and we'll just keep rolling as we do. Senate Bill 220, welcome, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And other distinguished members of the committee. For the record, Senator Bailey, representing St. Mary's and Calvert County. I am here today to talk to you about Senate Bill 220, which deals with Calvert County. This is a local bill and Sunday hunting. This bill would add Calvert County to the list of counties where hunting would be permitted on each Sunday of the game bird and game mammal season. In 2019, as many of you remember, I sponsored legislation that extended Sunday hunting in St. Mary's County in this manner. Following passage of that bill, I began to hear from my constituents in Calvert County about extending these same privileges to Calvert County landowners, as this bill only applies to hunting on their private property. I believe very strongly that all Marylanders should be able to hunt on their own property on Sundays. Hunting, as this committee is aware and regulates it, is significantly regulated by the state. There is a requirement that all hunters must attend a hunter safety education class. They must all pass a written test. They must demonstrate firearm safety, and they must all then purchase a hunting license. And I think you guys are familiar that I am a hunter safety instructor and participate with a lot of youth hunting and teaching in classes every year. Before hunting on private land, the hunter is required by law to get written permission of the landowner. The landowner can determine when, for what species, what methods, and how hunting is allowed on their own property. It is particularly important for younger hunters. And as you remember, in 2019, I brought my children, both teenagers, up here, and they testified to you. And both of them are very involved in school sporting events. And the school sporting events happen during the weekdays, and then they are required to participate in them on Saturdays. So to permit Sunday hunting was the only way that they, their friends, and the next generation of hunters can have an opportunity to participate in this great tradition. Sunday has become a very popular day for hunting in our state. Despite the current restrictions, according to the Department of Natural Resources, hunters harvested over 7,200 deer on Sundays in 2020. That was representing 10% of the total harvest. Maryland's restrictions on Sunday hunting are a relic of an era that has long since passed. It is legal to target shoot on Sundays, to trap. It's legal to kill groundhogs, coyotes, fisher, gray and red fox, nutria, possum, raccoons, and even skunks on Sunday. It's also legal to shoot on a regulated shooting area or with a crop damage permit on Sunday. The current Sunday hunting laws are a significant restriction on the rights of private property owners to hunt or permit hunting on their own property. It's important to note that this bill only pertains to Sunday hunting on private property in Calvert County and does not alter any other provision of law regarding public lands. This Senate bill has the support of the Calvert County Senators, the Calvert County Delegation, and the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County. When we talk about deer hunting, which is a issue that many people participate in, and you compare Calvert County to St. Mary's County, there are 12 additional hunting days difference when we talk about that. 10 of those days occur in the archery-only season. Only 2 of these days that we're talking about are in the muzzleloader season, and they're in the middle of the winter. As the members of this committee are very informed, I am very involved in youth hunting, and I take a lot of youth with not only all my children's friends, and the issue behind it is, as I said, many of them play sports. But the thing is, many of them don't live or have the opportunity or the privilege that I have to live on a farm. So we have a lot of their friends come. But I like to engage their friends' families and make sure mom or dad gets to come along with us. The issue with that is, in today's day and age, in our area, a lot of the parents work Monday through Saturday. The only day that they get to participate and come along is on Sunday. And then we have passed this bill in St. Mary's County. So I have the privilege to take them in St. Mary's County. And I think that it is only just and right that we give the landowners in Calvert County the same privilege. Next month, the middle of the month, yes, I'm hurrying as fast as I can. This is just very, very important, and I really appreciate it. Next Sunday is turkey season. On Saturday, the youth in St. Mary's County can hunt. The youth can also hunt on Sunday. So it means on Sunday, my son who plays sports, he can hunt on Sunday. If we lived in Calvert County, he couldn't because it's prohibited in Sunday. So I respectfully request a favorable report on Senate Bill 220. Thank you for your consideration. I'm very sorry I was extended.
Thank you. Senator Carrozza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 2 brief questions, Senator Bailey. Thank you for bringing this bill. One is the Maryland Department of Natural Resources, given your prior leadership position there. In their statement, they talk about hunting as an effective way to control the deer population. They note in Calvert County, during the 2021 deer season in Calvert County, 150 deer were harvested, and they estimate an additional 25 to 50 deer would be harvested on the additional Sundays in Calvert County as a result of your bill. Do you agree with those numbers?
Well, the numbers statewide are about 10% higher. Sunday makes up about 10% of the total population in deer kill. So I do think that it would be higher, yes.
And my second question, there is opposition from the Maryland Horse Council, and I wanted to ask you, since you were the author of the legislation for St. Mary's County Sunday hunting, and the issues that they have raised about safety concerns or any complaints about infringing on the general public's right to enjoy the outdoors, if in that time since 2019, if you have received any complaints or if there's an issue in St. Mary's County since the passage of that legislation.
Thanks for that question. No, I have not received any complaints. I'm still friends. I just had a call to entertain and get a ticket to the hunt ball in St. Mary's County. I have not had one single complaint in St. Mary's County. I know there was a lot of fear when we first brought this up, right? When we first brought this bill forward, there was a lot of fear. It's going to affect that. I have the only reference I've had is people that have been thankful.
In your local county?
In my county,
Thank
yes.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. Appreciate your testimony. Buddy Hance, are you here, buddy? Then we'll move to unfavorable, Ms. Claggett. Mr. Secretary, how are you? Good to see you.
Good evening, Senator Penske. It's good to see all of you again. It's been a little while, especially in person. So I'm here today. My name is Earl Hance. I currently serve as president of the Calvert County Board of Commissioners. And as most of you know, I was a former Secretary of Agriculture and a former president of Maryland Farm Bureau. And I know you probably get tired of hearing about deer, But for those of us that farm, it is a significant issue. It's probably the number one cause of loss of income for farmers in the state of Maryland is deer. And it's not only deer. I will highlight to you, when I was secretary, we actually had a nursery on the Eastern Shore that had to get a crop damage permit for rabbits. They had so many rabbits on the nursery, and it was destroying their nursery crop that they were issued a crop damage permit for rabbits by the Department of Natural Resources. So wildlife damage is an issue for all farmers across the entire state. And just to reiterate what Senator Bailey said, people live very busy lives today. And we're trying to get youth involved in hunting. And for those individuals that choose hunting as their recreational sport, we're just trying to give them every opportunity to enjoy the outdoors. I know you're going to hear concerns from the Horse Council about safety on their behalf. And as I've testified every time, private landowners have complete supervision over their properties. And if they want the trail riders to come in, they can discontinue hunting for those days and allow those trail riders to ride. And it really only impacts hunting seasons from September to about February. As Senator Bailey said, we can hunt other varmints all year long, any day of the week, 24 hours, 7 days a week. So this only involves those recreational issues and trying to allow people to enjoy the sport and give agricultural producers some relief. So I'll conclude with that and be happy to take any questions.
I just have one, Buddy, and again, nice to see you.
Yes, sir.
Has the county called DNR to do targeted shoots and bring in their sharpshooters to knock off some of the deer?
We have not. We tried using, the resources that are available, and we have, to this point, have not asked for sharpshooters to come in.
Right. And they do have a program, as I recall.
They do.
Where they bring in people to come in selectively to knock off as many deer as possible.
They do, and there is an expense to that. And generally, that's done on public land where there's no public hunting allowed.
Are they allowed to be used on private land?
They are allowed, but in a lot of cases, landowners are trying to provide an opportunity to their friends and neighbors to harvest the deer. And so that's been the option that's been most used by producers.
Right. I guess I was just wondering if there were so many that they needed more time. You only have so many friends and people to come in and knock off the deer.
Right.
Whether that was another option that could be
Right.
used. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you both. Let's
Thank you.
go to the opposition. Ms. Claggett, Horse Council.
Hello, committee. I'm Christy Claggett, a resident of Harwood, Maryland, and a member of the Legislative Committee of the Maryland Horse Council. To be clear, this bill is not just about deer. It is a Sunday hunting for 52 Sundays the entire year. It's for mammals and bird game that can be shot also. So we're not just talking about the 21 Sundays that are of the deer season. So this puts a lot of pressure on people who try to trail ride. It's an internet of public and private trails. If your neighbor is shooting, that shuts you down, you can't get through. So it is a private land issue, but what your neighbor does next to you affects your use of that private land right. And it really shuts you down. I mean, I was shot at on my own property on a Saturday of Sunday. And of course, he didn't mean to, but he mistook me for a deer. So luckily, I didn't get hit, but a bullet sure went by. So this bill is an overreach. Most people do not support Sunday hunting. I mean, there's a Gonzales poll of 2018, a statewide poll that states that 60% of the people are not in favor in Maryland of Sunday hunting. So now we're responding to 2%. Hunters are 2% of the Maryland population, and we're giving them all the Sundays? What's fair about that? Where's the sharing of the resource? The Sunday hunting is a problem. And we need to consider all of the recreational people. We've just had pandemic and people are going out in the outdoors. You've got the Maryland responding to studying how the parks are receiving them. There are no public parks in Calvert County. We have a constituent that's the Hillsbridge Beagles. They say they're going to be shut down completely. They won't be able to go out. They usually go out on Sundays, and they won't be able to go out, and that's the end of my testimony. I oppose this bill.
Thank you, Ms. Claggett. Questions for Ms. Claggett?
Sorry.
Seeing none, thank you for coming to Annapolis today. That concludes the hearing on the first bill of the day. We're going to move into the second bill of the day, Senator Bailey 582, Recreation on Private Land Hunting. We have Senator Bailey, Bill Miles, and Colby Ferguson.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and other distinguished members of the committee. Senator Bailey, District 29, representing St. Mary's and Calvert County. Today I'm going to introduce you a bill that would provide if the landowner directly invites or permits an individual to use the landowner's property for hunting, that the individual implied consent to adhere to every law, observe every safety precaution and practice, take every precaution against fire, and assume all responsibility and liability for the individual's safety and property while hunting on that property. This bill is being introduced in response to concerns from landowners. There was a Court of Special Appeals ruling in Martinez versus Ross that significantly narrowed the scope of Maryland's recreational use statute. This provided protections to landowners who allows others to engage in recreational activity on their property. This is a significant departure from previous interpretations of this law. And while this case did not involve hunting specifically, the court's ruling has led to a very understandable hesitance on the part of some landowners to allow hunting on their property. The Senate bill is an attempt to clarify the law to ensure that it continues to protect landowners who allow individuals to hunt on their property as it did before the court's ruling. It is important to note that the Department of Natural Resources also recommended this action in response to the Joint Chairman's report last year. That Joint Chairman's report is attached to my testimony. The recommendation can be found on page 5 of that report. I've been working with the Maryland Farm Bureau and the Hunters of Maryland to ensure that this bill addresses the issues that I have submitted. And as a result, I submitted an amendment to ensure that the bill maintains the interpretation of this statute as it was before the court's ruling, which also conforms it to the language in the House version of the bill, which is House Bill 956. I respectfully request a favorable report with the amendments on Senate Bill 582. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Senator. Either Ms. Ferguson, Mr. Miles, whatever order you choose.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Colby Ferguson on behalf of Maryland Farm Bureau. And we come here in support of the bill with the amendments as Senator Bailey has outlined. We see this as a necessary bill that we, for many years, had naturally assumed that we fell under the statute that would allow us to allow people to come to the farm and go out and hunt, whether it be hunting, doing the lease rights to our property, or just allowing anybody to come out. And based on this court ruling, if it's not that you allow everybody to come on, almost like a park, that under the way that the judge ruled, then you would not be given those liability exemptions. So what this bill does is seeks to clarify that if you invite somebody to your private property to come hunting, whether you charge them a leasing rights or you just let them come for free, that this would give you those same statutes of standard of liability that we were under the assumption we had prior to. So this bill is a cleanup. We worked with the Department of Natural Resources. They're actually the ones that came to us and to Senator Bailey and said, hey, this is something you might want to take care of. This is only for hunting. There's other parts of this statute that have to do with ATV riding and all those. We're not touching that. If that's something that needs to come back in the future, we can do, but this primary focus is only for the hunting. So with that, we'd ask for a favorable report.
Thank you, Mr. Miles.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Bill Miles on behalf of the Hunters of Maryland, here in support of the bill. I think the good senator and Colby pretty much summarized it. I mean, because of that court case, the recreational use statute was assumed to be liability protection for the landowner. With the court case, there is no such liability protection right now. This bill would ensure that the liability protection is afforded consistent with the intent of that act was before the court overruled it. Very, very important bill. We so respectfully urge the committee to pass this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Riley.
You said you represent the hunters. Don't you absolutely represent a specific organization?
The Hunters of Maryland, yes, sir.
That's Hunters of Maryland.
The Hunters of Maryland. HuntersofMaryland.com.
.com. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Seeing no opposition, orally or written, no more questions. Thank you all for your testimony.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Senator Bailey.
Thank you.
Okay, Senator Eckert, we're going to move to 140, deer and turkey hunting Sundays in Talbot County.
Thank you very,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I'm here today on Senate Bill 140, Senator Addie Eckert from District 37, Talbot, Dorchester, Carolina, Wycomico County. And this is simply a bill you've seen before for Talbot County to allow deer hunting as it is in other counties, and also to allow turkey hunting, to include that in Talbot County. I've provided a chart for you, Mr. Chairman and others, and it will show you, if you take a look at it, which counties have the most hunting. And actually, Montgomery County takes advantage of all the Sundays for deer hunting. And we just want to make sure in Talbot County we have those several Sundays for firearms hunting in Talbot County, and then add turkey as well. So you have my testimony, and you, I think, have a letter that's on its way from the delegation, or already have that, and there will be a letter coming from support from Talbot County. As you know, deer management continues to be a significant issue, as discussed with the previous bills. And we are replenishing crops, sometimes up to 4 times in most of our counties because of the deer damage. This is preventing hunting, Sunday hunting, only on private land. And that is at the discretion of that landowner. So I urge your favorable consideration and ultimate support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I assume this does not include hunting wild turkey in a bottle.
Well, I don't know, maybe we could add that to it in a minute.
Questions for the good senator? Seeing none.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator.
And I apologize, I have no witnesses, they weren't able to make it up today.
No. We understand.
But you
there's other
will
work
have
to be
their
done.
paper copy of their testimony. Thank you.
Let's go to Ms. Claggett again, the Horse Council, in opposition.
So, once again, I'm here representing the Maryland Horse Council. We have other testimony that's been sent into your files for this. This is an increase of 21 days for deer hunting. They currently in Talbot County has 7. It's also an increase for the turkey season of 5 Sundays. So right now, actually the county that doesn't even have any Sunday hunting, Baltimore County, shoots the most deer. So the deer population is down. There is not a real need for obviously farmers want less deer, but farmers have the option of using DMPs. They can use them 365 days a year. They can use them on Sundays. They can take out as many deer as their license gives them. They get a 30 deer license, and they can renew it to another 30. So the deer population can be dealt with by DMPs, by the farmers. They also have the deer cooperative permit, which Senator Pinsky was referring to, which is sharpshooters. You can bring them into an area that's having a problem. So Sunday hunting is not necessary to reduce the population. It is a hunter convenience. The statistics have shown that not more deer are killed, just more deer on Sunday as a county gets more Sunday. It's convenient, but it's most inconvenient for other people that want to recreate in the area. You have trail riders, as I said, is the major group that's influenced. and they are shut out when an owner of an adjoining property lets hunting happen there. You're not going to go in and hike, bike, ride, watch birds with guns in the woods. You're just not going to do it. So we are not anti-hunting. We are just for sharing the resource of the great outdoors. Thank you. Oh, any questions?
Yeah, questions for the witness, Senator Riley?
Thank you very much. Good to see you again,
Yes.
but for you and all the others. Acronyms aren't very good for people who don't hunt, don't live in the country. DMP is a,
Deer management permit.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Senator Riley is, wait, Ms. Claggett, you went away too soon.
Went away too soon.
Thank you. Senator Riley is channeling his inner Senator Kagan. I love that. So I have just opened the hunting accident report from 2007 to 2021. It looks like so I'm just scrolling through. It looks like 3 or 4 fatal shooting incidents where people ended up dead, and then a bunch of non-fatal, but when people were injured at some level. What's the answer? How would you, magic wand, how would we allow hunters to enjoy their hobby? And I can tell you, deer are a problem in Rockville. They are everywhere. So people can come to Rockville and safely figure out how to help us there. But seriously, what is the answer with the balance? What would you
I
suggest?
think
for us?
you keep hunters and other recreationists separate. I don't see how they can be together in the woods. You're going to have to divide the days that they use the outdoor recreation. And traditionally, Sunday has been that day for everyone else to recreate, and we all knew that, I mean, when all of this started, 2004 was when all this started, there were 2 Sundays, one for bow and one for gun, that were allowed, and we thought that was sharing. But now, for every Sunday, I mean, it's just gone too far. And I think as you jam people together, you're going to get more of those incident reports, more of those accidents. I mean, they're mostly deer and turkey seems to be when the accidents are the most.
Why is that?
That's because when there are the most people out there. You know, so it's a large push to go out and do the 2.5 weeks of deer. And so that's an incident of more people in the woods. So if you put more people trying to recreate on Sundays without guns, and then you have the guns in the woods too, it just is not safe. That's why we push for safe Sundays.
Thank you, Ms. Claggett. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Claggett, I did have one question for you. And I don't know if you're the right one or not to answer the question. In places where Sunday has been added, have the number of deer shot increased, or is it just displaced and shifted hunting from other days? In other
Yes,
words,
that's it. It's displaced.
I mean, do we have, is that quantifiable, I guess is
You
my
can,
question.
you can look at all the different, they have it by county, and you can see how many are shot. And the number actually of overall deer has been going down, and the deer actually are having a blue tongue problem. And they're saying that, the hunters are actually saying they want, you know, to restrict shooting of young bucks because they don't want to take out the trophy bucks. I mean, it's, you know, we've got a conflict here between farmers who want deer dead and hunters who want to be the ones that shoot them and keep up a higher population of attractive bucks. But it is not, Sunday has statistically not been the tool in the box that takes out more deer. It's fulfilling your DMPs, and they're just shifting the day that they hunt, and they're
Okay.
not taking out more.
Thank you. Is DNR here? I know they always submit information, and they're a great information gathering. Are they here to answer a question? What a shock. Okay, thank you. That concludes the hearing on Senator Eckert's bill. We're going to move to Senator Jackson. This is 388, Charles County Natural Resource Sunday Hunting. The good senator will be followed by Charles Rodney and Robert Borman. And if Mr. Gilbert Bowling can also come up or be in the first row, that'd be great. We will take the proponents, and then we'll move to the opponents. If Mr. Rodney, if you want to come up to the table, you may, please. Come on up. And if Mr. Borman wants to come up as well, that'd be great. Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Vice Chair, members of the Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs Committee. For the record, Senator Michael Jackson, District 27, on behalf of Senate Bill 388. Senate Bill 388 will simply add Charles County to the list of Maryland counties which allow Sunday hunting for game birds and animals during their applicable hunting seasons. Additionally, there's also an amendment that you'll receive, if you haven't already gotten it, for a 50-yard archery safety zone. This legislation is a direct effort to help better manage the wildlife population and to lessen their encroachment into residential neighborhoods and onto local roadways in Charles County. Because of development and overpopulation, action is needed to quell these issues and to reduce the dangerous situations that result from game animal overpopulation. I think that many of you who travel the southern, western, and eastern shore regions of our state see the countless number of deer on the sides of the roads that are hit by cars, often causing serious accidents. Existing Sunday hunting laws in Charles County are a significant restriction on the ability to properly manage local game animal populations, and this legislation would allow the county a better means of resolving the difficulties and traffic safety issues. Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, this is a local bill from Charles County, voted 5-0 by the county commissioners. Commissioner Bowling is here to testify as well as a 6-0 vote from the Charles County delegation. With that, I'll ask for a favorable report on this local bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Rodney, welcome.
There you go.
Thank you. Thanks to the committee for allowing me to present. My name is Charles Rodney. I'm also known all over the country as the rabbit hunter. I mentor lots of people, plenty of young people and their parents on how to rabbit hunt. Rabbit hunting is a first in learning how to hunt before you can do big game. It gives people of all ages the opportunity to hunt on Sundays, particularly those who are in school, who have extracurricular activities that they cannot participate during the week, as well as it gives the older people an opportunity to hunt on Sundays because of work and of family issues and so forth. But it also brings in additional funds to the state because we as hunters, we spend a lot of money on gear. I spend a lot of money on dogs and gear because I produce the dogs and bring the dogs. We purchase additional license, food, guns, gear, shells. So we keep a lot of people employed. Our hunts usually last in the morning from about 8 to about 12. And sometimes we go in the afternoon and they last anywhere from 12 to about 4 o'clock. So we quit well before dark. Hunts are that's about how long they go before we get tired. Hunters have the experience of a great camaraderie, it builds friendship. We learn respect from each other. We learn safety. We respect the property where we're given permission to hunt on, be it state property or be it private property. We just have a barrel of fun. Not only do I mentor those people, but I write about them as well. Recent article, first time success rabbit hunter, a young lady. Rabbit hunting with young people, a national magazine I write for. How to rabbit hunt with Charles Rodney. All of these things are on various online. You can also see me online on YouTube and a variety of podcasts. So I speak it, I live it, I believe it. I take a lot of people hunting, many young people. I'm looking for more. I'm getting older. I'm 72, so I'm ready to quit soon. So I need replacements. And I ask for a favorable report because this is important to young people and people of all ages. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodney. Mr. Borman?
Yes, sir. Senator Penske, thank you, and thank you, Senator Jackson, for introducing this bill. I'm not only here on my behalf today, but I'm here for hundreds of hunters and men, women, and children in Charles County that do support this bill. And As Charles said, hunting plays a very important role in the state's economy by adding tax revenue. It also adds employment, and also it supports conservation and preservation of our natural resources. Also, we believe having unity in our hunting regulations would be beneficial to our natural resource police. As you stated, they're not here today. I wish some of them were. But for instance, St. Mary's County already has all of the Sundays that are allowed in the legal hunting season, and that's all we're asking for is the Sundays that are legal during the hunting season. But that would give the natural resource police people the same guidelines from county to county, and it would make their jobs a lot easier. Crop damage was mentioned. I farm also. I lose thousands of dollars every year, plus the other hunters in the county lose thousands of dollars. As of now in Charles County, we only have 9 Sundays that we can hunt out of 22, and that's all we're asking for, and it's on private land only. There's 8 other counties in the state that allow Sunday hunting, extended Sunday hunting, every Sunday in the season. There's 3 counties that have 15 of the 22 Sundays that are allowed to hunt those Sundays during the legal hunting season only on private land. I need to make that clear, private land. Charles touched about our youth. I too mentor a lot of youth. Kids today, 5 days a week with school, they got sports, Saturdays, they're doing sports. If this just gets them outside for one day here and there to get them off the computers, I only need 30 more seconds if you don't mind, and get them off their phones. And lastly, I would like to ask the committee to accept an amendment to include a 50-yard safety zone. Senator Jackson alluded to it. 8 other counties in the state of Maryland have this in place, including Calvert and St. Mary's. I ask for a favorable on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boardman. Mr. Bowling, is that you? Could one of you gentlemen step back and then we'll take questions? Thank you. Mr. Bowling, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and fellow committee members. I'm Commissioner Gilbert Bowling, representing Charles County and the Board of Commissioners today. I think it says a lot, and I hope you all appreciate this, that the Board of Commissioners unanimously supported this, and so did our delegation, unanimously. My background, I'm a retired Prince George's County police officer. I'm a farmer and a hunter, and I can tell you that there's much more impact on the community than just from the deer hunter end. Charles County is unique. We're about 75% rural, 25% urban. There's an impact on the urban community we have in Charles County related to automobile accidents and damage to people's lawns and such. From the southern end of the county, there's an enormous impact on the farming community. We had an opportunity to give our senators and delegation a tour of southern Maryland and our county and show how this is negatively impacting our economy down there. And I really feel, based on the fact that this bill will just allow us to hunt on Sundays, and I will tell you, as a farmer, and a cattle farmer at that, there is a huge difference when somebody can hunt on a Sunday, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of the folks that hunt on our farm, because my dad and I can hunt all week. A lot of the friends we have that work in D.C. in the city, they don't have an opportunity to hunt during the week. And on the weekends, my kids hunt on Sundays, and it's just my children. But on Sundays now, I'll be able to have friends over. They'll be able to bring down that deer population. I can tell you it is a severe problem. I was on the phone this morning with farmer Russ Schlegel, who has a pretty large vegetable operation in Waldorf, and he does have a deer management permit, but it's not enough. He has taken quite a few deer and then turns around and donates the deer to our local food bank. So there is a big impact on our local economy down there and our farmers and the automobile industry for that. So I'll stand for any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be brief. Mr. Rodney, your testimony about these young people teaching them rabbit hunting, that was really, I liked your stories, but my question is, of those young people, because it sounds like you're getting some of the youth involved in that type of hunting, how would Sundays, the fact that having that as an option for the youth, that opens it up more for the youth to participate?
Yes, it would, because the youth, particularly during hunting season, goes November to February. So they're right in the midst of school and school activities, Saturday activities. I have grandboys, and they're in a lot of activities in Calvert County where they live on Saturdays. So they're super busy. So Sunday would provide an extra opportunity. And I take them out with their parents and with parental permission. Not all the time, but a lot of time during the year. So yes, Sunday would help them tremendously because they're so involved with other
Because they're
activities.
doing
Thank
sports
you.
and other stuff.
Thank you.
Yes.
Senator Riley.
Much. Mr. Rabbit, what kind of weapons do you use for the Rabbit, and what's the range that you normally shoot at?
The weapons we normally use, most people use 20 gauge, which is a shell,
Shotguns.
20 gauge, 28 gauge, and 410. Probably the range would be maybe about the length from this wall to that wall for a kill. They might go a little bit further, but they're very weak. They'll just kind of like rain falling, just spray down.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, just a very different hunting rabbits than deer. Those bullets can go forever. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the ones in my neighborhood are pretty slow. You could probably use a lasso and catch them, I think. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Let's go to Ms. Claggett. Excuse me.
So it's very touching about the hunting youth, but what about the rest of the youth? I mean, we've got 2% of the population that are hunters, and we've got 98% that are not, and they'd like to recreate outdoors without being worried. Personally, would you like to turn out, I mean, do you let your kids and pets outside if you know there's a hunter in the neighboring land next to you? Do you go for a walk in the woods if you think there's a gun in there? I don't think so. It's just a safety issue, and I don't think it's fair to focus on 2% of the population and ignore the rest of it. There's also just been a strategy since 2004 when they had the first statewide bill. It's been a strategy to go granular and use local courtesy bills to push this forward, and we know that that works. I mean, that's been working, and so it's an onslaught. And also, to be clear, this bill is not just about deer. This deer is one of those all mammals, all species, all seasons again. So we're talking 52 Sundays. I mean, it's just too much. If they wanted to just kill deer and turkey, they would have gone into that section of the legislative regulations. But no, we've got multiple counties pushing to go for all Sundays, and I think it's unreasonable. It's not sharing the resource of the great outdoors. I mean, right now, we've got Maryland looking at a bill it's called the Great Maryland Outdoors Act. Senate Bill 541. We've got a new Office of Outdoor Recreation for DNR to deal with all of the people that want to recreate outside. We had a State Park Investment Commission. What was that about? I mean, that was about, people using the outdoors. Since the pandemic, there's been a 45% increase in use of the outdoors. So that means everybody's going to be out there. And to have guns and weapons, it's not reasonable. Thank you. Any more questions?
No questions. Thank you for your testimony. Actually, one of those bills was on the floor of the Senate just this morning. Okay, thank you. That completes the hearing on Senator Jackson's bill. Thank you for joining us in your testimony. We'll go to Senator West, followed by Senator Quarterman. Can we have Joanne Chason and Colby Ferguson come up with Senator West if you're in the House? Then we'll go to Senator Quarterman, and Janet Davis will be joining him. Senator West.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and colleagues. Senate Bill 427 is a Baltimore County bill, and you have in your packets the delegation letter which was unanimously adopted by the state senators from Baltimore County. Currently, Baltimore County is the only county in the entire state which requires a license to hunt non-game birds and mammals. Senate Bill 427 simply repeals that prohibition and will bring Baltimore County in line with all the other counties in the state. What we're talking about here are groundhogs. Now, groundhogs are cute, But number one, they're poor weather prognosticators. And number two, when groundhogs are active in fields, their holes can be dangerous to horses and cows. And in addition, when they dig a hole, there's a big pile of dirt next to the hole. And so when a tractor goes nearby with an appendage sticking out, it can harm the tractor and cause the farmer real money to try to repair the tractor. So that's the genesis of this bill. I don't think I need to say much more about it. Thank you.
No, and there's no opposition to this bill.
Right.
So you don't want to talk us out of sympathy for the bill. Ms. Chason, then Mr. Ferguson.
Yeah, sure.
So, thank you. Yeah, I do sort of feel like this is Groundhog Day because this is the third time that I have approached you all on this very bill. So, thank you again, and thank you again, Senator West, for sponsoring it. You know, it has seemed like a no-brainer to us because it is very simply that Baltimore County farmers are asking for the same rights and privileges that every other landowner in the state of Maryland has. A landowner or farmer in Maryland can hunt, even in Baltimore County, you can hunt deer on your own property, but yet you need to go buy a license to shoot a groundhog, which is costing you money, or costing you money in damages. So we're just simply asking for the same rights and privileges that, as I stated there. We also have confirmed with extensive work with DNR that this does not change any of the rules or regulations regarding the safety zones that would be required or, what is that?
Safety training.
Safety training, thank you. The safety training course that is required for all hunters in Maryland. That is still required. It just eliminates the bill for the sentence. Thank you.
Thank you, and I assume Mr. Ferguson's going to say me too?
Yes, sir. I just want to say this bill got COVID in 2020 and was late filed last year, so this is why we're back for the third time, and we're all on time this time. So, yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no questions, that concludes the hearing on 427. Thank you, Senator West. Senator Corderman and Ms. Davis. Jana, are you here? Yes, she is. This is 665, Healing, Hunting, and Fishing Fund, no-cost licenses and stamps.
Thank you, Chair Pinsky, members of the committee. For the record, Senator Paul Quarterman, District 2, Washington County. Thank you for hearing Senate Bill 665. This bill would authorize grant funding for a variety of recreational opportunities for veterans. The Healing, Hunting, and Fishing Fund will provide an angler's license and trout stamps, a Chesapeake Bay and coastal sport fishing license, a hunting license, and any corresponding stamps at no cost. Eligible sponsor organizations such as nonprofit charitable organizations will provide any of these opportunities for Gold Star recipients, disabled veterans or armed forces, and veterans or armed forces who could benefit from these opportunities. The bill allows for the opportunity to give back to our local veterans. There's no physical impact to the state from this bill, as funding will come through the Chesapeake Bay Trust. The cross-file passed out at ENT last week unanimously, passed the House last year unanimously. We look for your consideration and respectfully ask for a favorable report.
I think you had us at hello.
Thank you.
Ms. Davis.
Great, thank you. I'll be quick and see if I can speak as quickly as the senator. My name is Jana Davis. I'm the director of the Chesapeake Bay Trust. I think a lot of you know us well. We were created by you all in the 1980s as a way to complement work of larger state agencies. We're both an independent state agency as well as a nonprofit. We make about 350 grants a year. We manage money from a number of different sources. One of them is the Healing, Hunting, and Fishing Fund, thanks to Senator Simon Eyre. A couple of years ago, we love running this program. We have a new opportunity on the website, cbtrust.org/veterans, so please look at it there and send any constituents that you have in your networks to look for grants there. Examples of some veterans projects that we recently funded are a wheelchair accessible nature trail and programming in Montgomery County, a couple workforce development programs for veterans, one in ag and one in stormwater in Baltimore City, and a really cool adaptive cycling program that I think is going to be very interesting in Baltimore County, just so needed. And then we currently have 3 veterans projects under consideration right now, one to provide more access to disabled veterans for hunting and fishing, and one very cool idea working with service dogs and veterans. So this program would allow applicants for our grants a little bit more flexibility in what they can use the funds for, and we're all in favor of giving our applicants as much flexibility as possible in what they need to get their projects done.
Thank you. Senator Simon-Ayer.
Time to say something today. I just want to thank Jana. She's done a great job of promoting this, and thank you for your work on that. And I thank the committee. They had a great wisdom of moving this forward, and thanks for Senator putting this in.
Seeing no further questions or comments, thank you all. Thank you, Senator. Let's go to Senator Hershey, and then we'll go to Senator Gallion. Senator Hershey's bill is 342, Queen Anne's County Natural Resources, Sunday hunting. Seems to be the theme of the day. Let's bring up Mr. Buriano and Mr. Franklin. Yep.
Great.
Welcome, Senator.
Welcome. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, Senator Steve Hershey to present Senate Bill 342. This is a local hunting bill for Sundays that will add Queen Anne's County and Caroline County to the counties that already permit game bird and game mammal hunting seasons on Sundays. The counties already in existence are Allegheny, Cecil, Garrett, St. Mary's, Washington, Calvert, Charles, Hartford, Somerset, and Worcester counties. This bill only applies to private property, does not authorize hunting of geese, ducks, doves, or any other migratory game birds. There is an amendment in your file that adds Caroline County to this, so it is for both Queen Anne's County and Caroline County. It's supported by both the Queen Anne's County delegation and Caroline County delegation, and with me is Commissioner Dan Franklin from Caroline County as well, too. So I appreciate a favorable report.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Ms. Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Thank you for hearing me today. I'm here in testifying favorably of Senate Bill 342 with the amendments as noted to include Caroline County. I wish I could have gone first on all this because I feel like you guys have heard just about every proponent of the positives for Sunday hunting. I just want to hit on a couple that are very, very pertinent to my county. First and foremost, the county commissioners in Caroline County have supported every attempt of Sunday hunting in Caroline County. We have always been unanimous. I've been in office 7 years, and we have tried this. I believe this would be the fourth attempt, if not the fifth. One important thing to note, our commission president, Commissioner Larry Porter, is not here today. However, he is not a hunter or a shooter and has been in favor every time. I am a hunter, shooter, and hobby farmer. I've also had 22 years in law enforcement. I'm a retired police officer, State of Maryland certified firearms instructor, and Maryland Police Training Commission firearms instructor. In Caroline County, the reason that I have gone so hard on this bill is because I believe it was the gentleman who was speaking of the rabbit hunting. During hunting season, our kids are in school. If they want to have the opportunity to hunt, an extra day would bring that to them without causing them to miss school. We are, Caroline County is the biggest agricultural county in the state. We also suffer the biggest losses from the deer population. I know it's not all about deer. The only thing that I believe is accepted from this bill is any of the federally managed waterfowl. This is also noted, it is a local private land-only bill. I'm not very, very sure. However, I will say with 90% to 95% certainty that the number of incidents reported to law enforcement in Caroline County regarding dangers or anything happening bad on Sundays during the Sundays that are allowed are very minimal. For us, it's also a very big economic engine. We have a lot of mom and pop outfits. We have a lot of guided hunts. This would allow them one more day. It's very important for all of these folks to have the same economic opportunities that everyone else should have. I'll wrap up in a second, but I just want to say, for the record, the difference between Sunday hunting, which is not currently allowed on all Sundays, and Sunday target shooting, which is currently allowed on all Sundays. If you're target shooting, generally, you're shooting multiple rounds, multiple times, and you could do it all day. If you're hunting, you're in a very specific pursuit. Your shooting is controlled. You're required to take a hunter safety course. You're required to purchase a license. You're required to have written permission to hunt on private land. I think there's enough constraints in place, and I would request a favorable report from the committee. Thank you all for your time.
We called your name, Mr. Briano. We'll give you 2 minutes. But Mr. Franklin became the lead witness, so you've got 2 minutes.
I apologize, Mr. Chairman, I was in another committee. For the record, Bruce Mariano, I'm here on behalf of Queen Anne's County. I believe you have a letter from the county commissioners. We're in very strong support of this legislation. I was here earlier when Senator Bailey spoke. A lot of the comments he made are very applicable to Queen Anne's County. We're only talking about private property. We're not talking about certain species that should not be hunted on Sundays. And I would ask on behalf of the county, and I know you heard from the distinguished senator from the county, for a favorable vote. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you for
coming up,
letting
Mr.
me
Franklin.
speak.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Claggett?
Thanks. I'm kind of feeling like a jack in the box. I keep jumping up here. But once again, we oppose 342, Queen Anne bill, to increase the amount of Sundays from 9 Sundays that are currently for deer to 52 Sundays. So if the kids can't get out in 9 Sundays, do they really need 52 Sundays to get out? I mean, it'll increase the deer Sundays to 21, but we're also talking about 52 Sundays. So Tuckahoe State Park is a very important, large park that is used by many. It has trails, it has walking for dogs, it has bird watching. There is a trail riding club associated with it. There's another Chesapeake Plantation Walking Horse Club of 300-plus members that use it. They have talked to us and said during hunting season, they try to stay away from the hunters because there are private properties around the park that are hunting areas on the border. And so actually, where they come into the parking lot to unload, if they're just going to use for a day ride, there is a field right there that's actively hunted. So they say they go there, and if they pick the wrong Sunday or forget which Sunday, there's shooting going on. They're shooting deer or they're shooting turkeys or, so they choose Sunday to avoid the hunter. So it's been the ideal to avoid the hunter, and there's a reason for that, because of the risk of injury. I mean, I have lists of the DNR 15-year accident report. In 2021, a deer hunter got shot in the thigh by the 10-year-old boy that he was training with him, taking him hunting. In 2020, a 14-year-old Somerset county turkey hunter shot another 14-year-old county hunter. Didn't kill him, but he shot him. 2019, a 61-year-old Washington groundhog hunter was shooting from his residence, missed the groundhog, and shot a guy in the shoulder, grazed his shoulder, who was a quarter-mile away fishing in a public park. So, these are unacceptable situations. There's danger, real danger out there. And to say that, that the kids need to hunt on Sunday and that the convenience of Sunday is a right, I disagree. And I say, well, how are the rest of us going to recreate? I mean, it's just not good to mix hunters and non-hunters. And if they want to enjoy the outdoors, they can go out without a gun or a crossbow. There are numerous instances of crossbows firing. One went through a guy's SUV. These are powerful weapons. So now is not the time to be increasing Sunday hunting. You've got more people going out into the outdoors, and bullets, arrows do not know boundaries. Most of the people don't know the boundaries. So that is our testimony. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions? Seeing none, thank you. Ms. Claggett.
Okay.
Okay, Senator Gallion. 497, deer management permit, hunting on state land leased by permit holder. Senator Gallion, is Mr. Draper here? Yes. Okay, and Mr. Ferguson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, fellow committee members. For the record, Senator Jason Gallion here, representing Hartford and Cecil Counties, District 35, to introduce Senate Bill 497, deer management permit hunting on state land leased by permit holder authorization. This bill authorizes an individual who hunts deer under a deer management permit to use a shotgun or breech-loading center-fired rifle approved by Department of Natural Resources to hunt deer throughout the year, including all deer hunting seasons, on state land leased by a permit holder for the purpose of cultivating crops. This is a cleanup bill to fix some unintended consequences from legislation passed 9 years ago. Currently, state-owned land that is used to grow crops, for example, University of Maryland Extension, cannot use these permits unless the land is located in certain counties. Because the statute only lists 5 counties, it prevents the rest of the state from being able to protect their crops with a deer management permit. Just a brief reminder, we've heard in earlier bill hearings about all the damage done to farmers' crops through these through the deer damage, so I won't go over all that again. But I can tell you, I have I've rented state park ground before for crops, and you're surrounded by a lot of woods a lot of times in those areas, and there's a lot of deer pressure. So this is an important tool in the toolbox to kind of help with that. So I'd like to respectfully ask for a favorable report on this bill, so we can help limit the damage done by deer on our ag land, or our ag commodities. Thank you.
Dr. Draper.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee, for considering this issue. My name's John Draper. I'm a Queen Anne's County farmer. I'm also the agronomic program manager at Y Research and Education Center, which is a University of Maryland agricultural experiment station. We're no longer allowed to use these deer management permits, or DMPs as they're known, due to an interpretation by the DNR of this law that occurred about 2 years ago. DNR implemented this interpretation about a year ago and denied our permit once we came out of the pandemic. Y Research has used deer management permits since their inception to help manage the deer on the farm. We have a very, very bad deer problem there. I can document about $10,000 a year just in the value of the grain that comes off of our relatively small farm that the deer are fed by. We're asking you to reinstate this use, which we used for many, many years without incident. Hunting is just one of the tools that we use at Y Research to help minimize the deer damage to both the crops and to the research. We also use trap crops, we use temporary fencing, and we use reserved areas where crops that are planted are favorable to the deer to try to keep them out of our fields, all to some degree of success. The DMPs are just one tool that we need to help manage our deer population. The farm's surrounded by private property. Most of these properties are large enough to harbor some deer, but they're much too small in order to allow any deer hunting on that property. So the deer all have to be managed just on our research farm. We have a very, very tight hunting policy that was just developed by the university. We're very particular about who hunts our farm, when they can hunt our farm. The public is not generally allowed on our farm. It's not a free access farm. They're allowed there by invitation only. We do have a considerable number of public events there on the farm, and we take care to protect the public when they're there. The researchers are also the top priority. So hunting on the farm is not allowed in any area where there be researchers working. The one concern in the fiscal note that I saw was the public safety because the leased state ground can butt up against the hunting areas. We also lease about 70 acres from the DNR on Y Island. We're specifically excluded from doing any type of wildlife management on that ground, so I think that issue can be addressed within the DNR. So we respectfully ask for a favorable recommendation on this and allow us to use a tool which we used for many years with great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Colby Ferguson on behalf of Maryland Farm Bureau, and I think Mr. Draper and Senator Gallion did a great job of explaining. I'll tell how we got here. For those that have been in this committee for quite a few years now, I've come and talked about unintended consequences of a bill that passed 9 years ago, which was Senator Dyson's bill, actually, for Southern Maryland, and actually put the deer management permits into statute. They'd always been in code prior to, and because of putting only a part of them in part of the law or code in statute, it created the things that weren't there to automatically be kicked out. And it actually took DNR 7 years to finally to find this one. And so because of COVID and everything, they didn't actually stop issuing the deer management permits on the state-owned land. But now that we're coming out of it, they are enforcing that. So this bill is to go back and redo that unintended consequence. And so right now, Hartford, Cecil, Hartford, Baltimore, Calvert, St. Mary's, and Charles County, our state-owned land, are allowed to do it because those were the ones that we put in the bill back years ago, but all the other counties are not. So Clarksville Research Station can't use them, the Y Research can't use them, Washington County can't use them as well. So we'd ask for this bill to be passed and get this back in place. Thank you.
Questions for any of the witnesses?
Thank you, Senator Gallion. I just had a quick question about how this parallels what's done on private lands. So if you look on page 2, the 3 where it says on state land leased by permit holder, it talks about the shotgun and the breech loading center fired rifle. Is that exactly the same as like what the farmer could do next, on the farm next to the Clarksville Ag Station?
Yeah, so that's what it was prior to. That's what they've always been using, and it was just this interpretation by the assistant AG that said that, the way the law is written, only these 5 counties can use it. So up until literally last year, I guess it was, Clarksville was using this, and they just got a letter out of the blue from DNR saying, we're not going to issue your permit anymore. So.
With apologies to Senator Gallion, Mr. Draper, we have a very, very long day, but can you give 60 seconds on why, how it's going and how it weathered COVID, just super, super fast? Because I know that conferences and stuff are there. I assume all that was shut down. How's it going? Are you guys doing okay?
Yeah, we're doing fine. As far as, I'm on the farm end, so we haven't really seen any difference whatsoever from COVID. It's been mostly up on the other end with the conferences, but things have leveled out now. In fact, there's a some type of big forestry meeting there today.
Great.
And they're doing some work with mushrooms and so forth. So yeah, it's very, very normal now.
Appreciate that. Really special place in the state of Maryland, so thank you for that.
Thank you very
Senator
much.
Gallion.
Okay, that concludes the hearing on that legislation. I think we're going to go to Senator Carrozza, and I'm going to hand off to the Vice Chair.
Senate Bill 98 is up next. Senator Carrozza, Somerset County Natural Resources, Sunday hunting, because that's the day it is. Senator Carrozza will kick us off, followed by Ashley Webster, who can come up and sit at the table from Somerset County Government, and Jamie Wink, also from Somerset County. You all can join us. Welcome to EHE, and Senator Carrozza, you may begin.
Okay, thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and to my fellow colleagues. I am here to present to you Senator Mary Beth Carrozza, for the record, representing Somerset County, Worcester and Wycomico counties. And I am presenting to you Senate Bill 98, and this is a Sunday hunting bill. It would authorize the Maryland Department of Natural Resources to allow an individual in Somerset County to hunt on private property on each Sunday of game bird and game mammal season. It also would allow Sunday hunting on public land to Somerset County only leased by a hunting club. I wanted my colleagues to know that this legislation adds Somerset County to the current list of counties that are already permitted to hunt on each Sunday of the game bird and game mammal seasons. These other counties include Allegheny, Cecil, Garrett, St. Mary's, and Washington. It also, as I mentioned, would allow Somerset County, leased to a hunt club only, to hunt on the public land, and those counties that already have that are Allegheny, Cecil, Garrett, St. Mary's, Washington, Dorchester, and Frederick. I'd also like my colleagues to note the rural aspects of Somerset County as the southernmost county in the state and the second least populated county in Maryland. Now, many of you have enjoyed the scenic drive to the annual Tall's Crab and Clam Bake along routes 13 and 413, but that is only a sliver of Somerset County's natural charm in rural areas. Given that the Maryland General Assembly has approved Sunday hunting for 7 other counties, it's only fair that Somerset County should have the same rights. Last year, the Somerset County hunting bill passed the House of Delegates by 125 to 10. It did not move in the Senate. As a priority local Somerset County bill, I pre-filed Senate Bill 98 at the request from the Somerset County Commissioners, there's a letter in your file, and local hunters and their families. This legislation would give Somerset County families more time to hunt during a limited season for game bird and game mammals. This legislation simply would provide Somerset County hunters with the same benefits of several other counties that allow Sunday hunting and hunting on public land. My panel will explain more of the family hunting and safety traditions in Somerset County and the local benefits of this legislation. My panel does include Ashley Webster, a mother, active hunter, and she's active in leadership in the local Farm Bureau, and Jamie Wink of Wink Sporting Goods in Princess Anne, Maryland. So I'm asking favorable report from my colleagues to allow this local priority bill for Somerset County to move forward.
Ashley Webster, you may begin your testimony. You have up to 5 minutes, but we really appreciate it since we've heard a lot of these bills, if you can be abbreviated.
Sure, I'll be brief because a lot of it is repetitive.
Yes.
My name's Ashley Webster. I'm from Somerset County. I am a mother of 2 children who also enjoy hunting. I just want to reiterate the importance of the family aspect of this Sunday hunting. My kids are both in school full-time. My daughter also enjoys activities on Saturdays, one of which is equestrian riding on Saturdays. So she does enjoy that on Saturdays. Her time is tied up with that. So Sundays are a lot of time our only day to get out. As Senator Cruz pointed out, I do have involvement with Somerset County Farm Bureau. We do have the support of the Farm Bureau. My husband is also a farmer of several hundred acres. So this is a huge impact for us. It allows us that extra day to get out there. And again, this is for private land or leased private land. So it's not public land. I don't see where it would impact anybody. You know, and Somerset County is a very rural area. It's a farm town. It's a family town. So it's all about getting out with your families and making sure you have that extra day would give us that time to enjoy that with our families. So.
Thank you so much, Ms. Webster. Mr. Wink.
How you doing? I'm Jamie Wink. I own Wink Sporting Goods in Somerset County. Most hunters, they get 1 day a week now with the busy schedules of working, most of them, Monday through Saturday, a lot of them. So if they don't work Saturday, they can hunt Saturday. But this bill would possibly open it up to double their time in the field, which means doubling the time spent with their families, like Ashley was talking about, more time together as a family doing what you grew up doing. Maryland also enjoys over $400 million in economic benefits from hunting, and over 4,500 jobs are sustained from hunting. There are other counties that are not as rural as us that have a lot more Sunday hunting opportunities. I think it would just be good to be in line with them. We also do know that hunters are DNR's best cost-effective tool at controlling the deer herd, but it's more than just controlling the deer herd for us hunters. It's about taking our kids out in the field like our parents did us and pass on to future generations the love of the outdoors. I'd also like to point out one thing, that we're not talking about 52 Sundays. You don't get to hunt in the summer and stuff, so it's more like 30 Sundays, not 52. And again, it's only for private land and leased land. So it's kind of your property. Man, there was one more thing, but I forget it now. Sorry.
That's all right. Thank you very much, Mr. Wank, and we really appreciate your coming up to Annapolis, both of you. I see no questions from colleagues, so that completes the hearing. And again, stay safe. What? Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, we do have an opponent. Sorry, but that completes this panel, so thank you very much. And Christy Claggett, you are up next in opposition.
Yes, opposition to Senate Bill 98. So Chesapeake Forest is in Somerset County, and it is a 75,000 acre public land that is also leased by a club. So it has 36 miles of hiking trails. So when the club is in the area that they're hunting, obviously no one can go there safely. Currently, there are 9 Sundays, and this is an all game birds, all mammals. So it does open it up to 52 weeks because there is a season for everything. And there are actually 3 animals, which are coyote, nutria, and groundhog, that are you're allowed to shoot all year round. So that means that there will be something that can be shot every Sunday. Once again, people ask, why is the Maryland Horse Council against Sunday hunting? Well, there's this flyer in your packets for this bill and all the other bills. And basically, the statewide poll shows that most Marylanders don't support Sunday hunting, they are 68% were opposed to Sunday hunting. And that's even in rural Maryland. This was a Gonzales statewide poll done in 2018, and 60% of rural residents didn't support it. And then DNR's survey found that only 8% of the general population has ever experienced the hunting in 2 years, and that it's only 2% of the population that really have hunting licenses regularly. So, and 84% of the general population has never hunted. By comparison, 24% of the Marylanders are now out recreating outside. So I know all these statistics are kind of boring, but it tells you a picture that hunters are not the only people using the outdoors. So thank you.
Testimony? Yes, Senator Gallion.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I just want to question a couple of the times you testified about this Gonzales poll.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I have concerns about using these poll data because I'm not sure exactly how they're asking the question. So did they mention in the poll that they sent out to these different people about the crop damage issue that deer are causing? Was that mentioned in that poll?
They asked specific questions. Actually, I think in our testimony, you can find a reference to find the poll and answer those questions. But they asked specific questions of what your perception of hunting was.
Okay, thank you. Because sometimes, if you put in, a lot of times the results are because of the way the questions are asked. So if somebody said, well, this is helping with crop damage potentially and with supplying food to food banks, it could change those numbers. So I'll look more into that poll. Thank you.
Right. Well, you're not really supposed to focus your question to make it go a certain way. I mean,
Right, that's why I have
ask
concerns with
perception.
those polls, right?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
if they don't give you the whole picture, if they just say, do you want guns going off on Sundays, a lot of people are going to say no to that. But if you dig in a little deeper and say, well, this could, lead to more, for deer feeding folks through food banks, and also could help with crop damage, it could change the numbers on the poll. So I'll look into that poll a little more. Thank you.
Well, also,
Thank you.
all
Thank
these
you.
bills.
Ms. Claggett, I think you
Okay.
answered the question. But it might be interesting, if you want to make the case about the Gonzales poll, if you want to share the poll and the way the questions were asked, I think it's a fair question, Senator Gallion. So I think a lot of us would be interested. And I worked for a pollster a million years ago, so I actually am a little bit curious. Senator Croza?
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I just wanted to, explore the Horse Council related to Somerset County. So as I know you've come in on the bills, the Horse Council is based in Harwood and has.
No.
Okay.
Horse Council is a Maryland statewide organization. It's an umbrella trade association. So we cover racing and competition. We have 16,000 stables owners of farms.
So
It's statewide.
how many members do you have?
It's an umbrella organization of associations.
Do you know how many members you have in Somerset County?
No, I don't know, but we are basically a Maryland organization.
I understand that, but this is a local Somerset County
Right.
bill, and you're pointing to polls.
Senator
And
Croza.
So my question is, you don't know how many members are in Somerset County for your organization?
She already answered your question,
Two,
Senator Croza.
can you tell me from the polling information if, in Somerset County, how it polled in Somerset County?
Gonzalez didn't break it down by county.
He didn't, okay. Thank you, because it is a local bill. Thank you.
Okay, Senator Washington?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do any of your members ride horses in Somerset County or recreate in Somerset County?
Yes, we have trail riding groups that go to different farms and ride all over Maryland.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Washington. Okay, I think that completes the hearing on this bill. We have heard a lot about Sunday hunting, and so Senate Bill 98, the hearing is completed, but we have another Senator Carrozza bill, Senate Bill 538, Land Use Agritourism Definition. And remember, colleagues, we've heard a bunch of bills already this year on agritourism, so I suspect we can move this one a little bit quickly as well. I'm just checking super
I
fast.
have two witnesses, Madam Vice Chair.
Yes, no, I was just going to see if there was unfavorable, but there is unfavorable testimony. So your lead witness, Melanie Purcell, Worcester County Office of Tourism Economic Development, if you want to come up, and then Kevin Addix and Colby Ferguson, if you all would like to come up and join Senator Carrozza. Senator, you may
Thank you,
begin.
Madam Vice Chair, and Senator Mary Beth Carrozza, representing Worcester, Wycomico, and Somerset counties. And we are switching issues from Sunday hunting to a favorite topic of this committee, agritourism. So I present to you Senate Bill 538, which adds special events and occasions to the statewide definition of agritourism under the Land Use Article 4-212. Now, the committee may recall Senate Bill 296, sponsored by our colleague Senator Gallion, that would add camping to the statewide agritourism definition that passed this committee and the Senate unanimously. Senate Bill 538 would be an additional option for farm families to diversify, provide additional economic opportunity, and allow tourists to have more options to explore and experience our local farms. I especially, as you know, am proud of the Worcester County Commissioners and Maryland's Coast Office of Tourism because they've spent a lot of extra effort working on the ag tourism that has been giving our farm families, not only in Worcester County, but with this bill, more options to diversify and expand rather than selling valuable farmland for development. Senate Bill 538 would be a successful tool in giving more local farms the opportunity to protect their way of life and some more options. Today, my panel includes Melanie Purcell. You've heard from her before. She's the director of the Worcester County Office of Tourism, and Kevin Addix with Grow and Fortify, who's worked with us on other agritourism bills. And they will further explain the benefits of adding this definition to the ag tourism land use article. So I respectfully ask for a favorable report on this agritourism bill.
Ms. Purcell, welcome back. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
with us.
I said I was just here on Friday. So.
I know.
It's always great to be in Annapolis. So again, for the record, my name is Melanie Purcell. I'm the Director of Tourism and Economic Development with Worcester County. And we respectfully ask for your support of Senate Bill 538, which would expand the definition of agritourism to include special events and occasions conducted at a farm that generates income from agricultural activity. So I think that's an important point. This bill would allow our local farms to expand their offerings and diversify the types of events they are able to host. Family farms struggle to maintain profits and stay viable. So the ability to host events will not only allow them to generate additional income, but introduce more guests and visitors to the agricultural industry throughout the state of Maryland, because this is a statewide bill. And also the various types of farms that exist in Maryland. So I think that's important. You know, it's not just about, one type of farm. I think it really opens up the opportunity to, again, share what Maryland has to offer with people from out of state. Especially now, people are searching for unique and often outdoor experiences, as we had heard earlier today, and participating in an on-farm event encourages out-of-state visitation and out-of-state spending. We have a number of farms, especially in Worcester County, that look forward to introducing more and more guests to their way of life. Agritourism has become one of the fastest growing and most exciting sectors in Maryland, and I've become intimately involved with this, and I appreciate my colleagues and the senator for bringing this forward for us. Therefore, I encourage your support of Senate Bill 538.
Thank you, Ms. Purcell. Mr. Addicks, another frequent flyer to the committee. Welcome back.
Love this committee.
We love you.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Kevin Addicks with Grow and Fortify, representing value-added agriculture in Maryland, of which agritourism plays a very strong part. The reality is, and I'll keep this extremely brief, the reality is nowhere in the country is there such development pressure as we have here, where our farms are wedged in between major markets and the natural capacity of that farm to generate revenue from farming is going down year over year unless you find a way to value add it. And agritourism is one of those ways. And once you value add it, you flip that development pressure into a positive. You've got so many people nearby who you can introduce to your farm and to farm life through agritourism. And so this bill simply adds to the list the ability to host events, which is a critical piece to help these farms remain profitable. I urge your support for Senate Bill 538.
Mr. Ferguson.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. Colby Ferguson on behalf of Maryland Farm Bureau, and we come in support of this bill. We have policy that specifically says that we would like to see special events available as an accessory use on a working farm. And so that's basically what this does. Like I said, when we testified in support of Senator Gallion's bill earlier in session, this is enabling legislation. This is not a mandate to the counties. This just basically says that the state blesses these to be allowed, and if the county so chooses, they can do the same thing. So there really is no requirement here. This doesn't force the counties to all of a sudden now have to allow these. So that's one thing I really want to make sure everybody understands, is this is not preempting anything that the counties can do. Luckily, Worcester County, Charles County, different ones have already started moving in this direction, and so I think putting this into the definition really clarifies that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson, and not to leave you out as someone we just really appreciate for all your advocacy before this committee. So thank you for that. Senator Washington has a question.
You know, I like this idea. I just do have a question about how it's drafted. In this section of the code, it does do some definitions of some things, but something that you don't include is and again, it's important since it is a statewide bill, the authority to zone or to, it's only a definition. It doesn't, the state is not in this authorizing locals to do anything around zoning of it. So would that be okay? That would make it more consistent with the other parts in this section? Or do you have a, like for example, there's licensure that's included in this section of the code, zoning.
Yeah, this is just specifically taking that definition that we passed, I think it was actually a Maryland Department of Agriculture bill, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, and just expanding that definition a little more broadly.
Yeah. It's just you're now, just so you know, I've just been living in land use code for like the last 7 months or so. So it's what we are now doing. We're recognizing it, and that's important. But we also need to, typically, if we recognize something new, we also need to be assured that the use is consistent with the intent of our land use authority, the authority that we give to locals. So it simply just does require that they shall also develop some zoning. It doesn't say what it has to be.
Correct.
It leaves it completely to local ordinance, resolution, law, or rule, because you're defining it but then there's no rules about it. So that's what I wanted to.
Senator, it's a good question, and there's a balance, obviously, between prescribing what a county should do or may or may not do versus creating this definition. And what we've seen on the ground is that counties that wish to engage in agritourism and allow farms to engage in agritourism, they will either create their own definition, but now there is this definition. So what we're seeing more frequently is they will say, and agritourism according to or as described in, and they cite this statute. So they allow it based on what this definition is. So it's either or. Counties can choose not to allow agritourism or can cite this list or can come up with their own list, but we encourage them to refer directly to this.
Right, so I know that there's a definition, and you are adding an activity, because there's a number, in code, you're right, there's additional activities, and you're just adding special events. As I said, I don't oppose, but since we're here, and I do think it's important that we standardize it, I do think that local jurisdictions, in addition to being able to adopt a definition, we should also authorize them to adopt local ordinance if they choose. I mean, that's just, it's consistent with what we've done in other sections, and this, so with alcohol production, we talk about it's defined, there's a license, just says certain things. We're not requiring a license or anything, in this piece of, in this section, but it's not consistent with the rest of the code if it doesn't, and I guess that's the committee's issue. I'm just sort of saying that we just need to add that piece.
I've always thought that it was inferred that due to Article 66B of the Constitution, that it gives the land use, which is the land use responsibilities to the county. So unless there is any specific changes or prescriptions, that it would be inferred to the county. So, but I agree. I think
just to clarify,
I
that way
agree.
it's done, and, so.
I'm good with that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson. Thank you, Senator Washington. For anyone watching at home, and this is a little bit of a time killer while we're waiting for Senator McCray to come down for our next bill, when senators are coming and going, it is not for any lack of interest in any particular bills. We have hearings on our own legislation in other committees, and so that's why some of the seats are empty. But we are totally caring about and committed to passing good bills. So with that, seeing no other questions or comments, thank you, Senator Croza. Thank you, witnesses. We appreciate you. And that completes the hearing on Senate Bill 538. Colleagues, we are going to have a moment, and Senator McCray is on his way. So if anyone has a joke, a story, and anything they want to share super fast for the good of the, all right. Knew you could count on Senator Riley.
So I wanted to share with the committee about this young man. So I have known him, how old are you? 40?
How old's your son?
I don't know. 47. I've known him for 43 years. He went to kindergarten, preschool with my son. Mr. Addix, could you share with the committee your highest level of educational accomplishment? Dr. Addix?
Sure, I have a doctorate in communication design from the University of Baltimore.
And at the university, at Loyola College, what types of classes did you teach?
Everything from journalism, public relations, marketing.
But specifically journalism in?
And book publishing recently.
Yeah. Environmental issues?
Environmental issues.
So I just want to let you know, he comes to us credentialed, researched, and Madam Chair, I have to share with you, his first publication that I became aware of was many, many years ago when he wrote the first comprehensive book on wineries in Maryland. Dr. Addix, how many wineries were there at the time of your publication?
There were 10.
I have the original book with with the reviews of 10 wineries. And now how many are in the state that are producing wineries and bottling their own wine?
102.
And how many farms are actually growing grapes?
83.
In addition?
Oh, in addition. There's another 20.
Yeah. So he comes to us very well prepared, a long-term friend, but most people don't know the depth of his background in this environmental area. He was instructing Loyola students on journalism having to do with the environment. So also, since Senator McRae's not here, Dr. Addix was running the Maryland Wineries Association, and my daughter was a employee. And they came to Dr. Addix and asked him to upgrade the book, upgrade the inventory. And he said, no, 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 I'm too busy. But I have a good staff member who would be a great author. He allowed my daughter to take up the opportunity, and my daughter is a published author in the history of Maryland wines, in many ways thanks to Dr. Addix. So I just want to let you know, I have a great deal of appreciation and admiration for he and his background, and I wanted the committee to know it while we were waiting for the good Senator McRae. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Riley. We were either going to tell bad jokes or something, or hearing about Dr. Kevin Addix was a way better choice. So thank you for that very much. Senator McRae, welcome back to EHE. It's always great to have you here. Thank you.
Seemed like a second home.
Exactly. Next up, we are going to have Senate Bill 437 with Senator McRae, Agriculture, University of Maryland Extension, Urban Farmer Assistance. And even though we are maskless and all that, we still probably don't want to have 1 million people up front. So after Senator McRae, we've got, they're not marked. So we'll have Robin Jessica Clark from the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, Colby Ferguson, and we've got 2 more. So we'll take those. But Senator McRae, why don't you kick us off?
Yep, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. First, I just want to apologize for my tardiness. Yep, I was upstairs with 13 county executives, and I didn't want to seem super disrespectful walking out on them for a bill. But today, I'm here in reference to Senate Bill 437. This is one that I've been working extremely hard on with my colleague Robin Clark from the Chesapeake Bay Foundation to make sure that we can protect and think about what does urban farming look like, and how does the technical assistance from an urban farming, making sure that we get them to, not protections, but let's just say lift up the voices of folks that may not always be at the table from that standpoint. So it's been a very, very good privilege to be able to do just that. This would just make sure that we partner with the University of Maryland Extension to be able to offer those folks that are in our respective urban jurisdictions to kind of help out, Madam Chair. But I'm going to stop doing the talking. I have the Chesapeake Bay Foundation here with me. I have Colby Ferguson from the Maryland Farm Bureau, and I have Dean Craig, I'm not going to butcher his name. Yep, from the University of Maryland. And thank you again. I hope for a favorable report in reference to Senate Bill 437. Yes, ma'am.
We know that you've got another bill with us, but then if you need to dash out and be with the county executives, we totally understand.
Nope, I'm here now.
All right, well, we're glad you are. All right, Robin Clark, Chesapeake Bay Foundation, welcome back. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Robin Clark with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation here today in support of SB 437. I do want to share that, as the sponsor mentioned, this bill was not our idea. It was derived through work that we did, listening sessions and continuing conversations with farmers in Maryland and farm service providers in Maryland, and that's how we came upon the bill before you today. There is ever-increasing interest in urban farming, and that's a wonderful thing because there are many benefits that urban farming can provide. Urban farming can help us address food priority areas, places where fresh produce is lacking for purchase, can preserve green spaces in our developed areas, clean water and clean air. It can promote minority business ownership. It's essentially a small business that you're starting when you're starting an urban farm. And this legislation acknowledges that. Again, it centers on the needs that we heard through conversations and that actually have been uncovered through the University of Maryland Extension's own research, that the most in-demand training is on specialty crop production and business management. Those are the top educational needs for urban farmers, and we've ground truthed that data through our conversations. So here in the bill, you see legislation that's responsive to that need, that would promote this important growth area for our state's economy. You see 2 agents two new statewide extension agents from the University of Maryland, and one would specialize in crop production and one would specialize in agribusiness management. The crop production agent would do things like trainings on good agricultural practices, how to plant crops in high tunnel systems, those greenhouses that are often used in urban agriculture, and on specialty crops like heritage vegetables, microgreens, cut flowers. So you see legislation that's very accountable from your perspective as to what it would do, where the money would go, where the interest of these agents would be focused. On the agribusiness side, the demand was for straightforward, business management skills, bookkeeping. These are essentially, like often you'll see the data on urban farms is a small operation. So you might have 1 to 6 employees, some may be volunteers, but training on things like accounting, business development, human resources, marketing, land acquisition, those are needs right now for the urban farm movement. And moving forward, the bill will ensure that the work of these agents centers on whatever the needs are. Because if there are additional areas where training is required, those will be uncovered through consultation with the urban farmers themselves. So for those reasons, Chesapeake Bay Foundation supports this legislation and urges the committee's favorable report. I would just also like to point out there's many other organizations supporting the legislation that aren't present at the table today. Thank you.
Maryland Farm Bureau.
I'm going to let Dr. Beruti go first, and then I'll follow him.
Totally fine. Dr. Beruti, welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Craig Beruti, and I serve as the Dean of the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources at the University of Maryland. And I also serve as the Director of Maryland Extension, so it's a statewide program, as you're very familiar with. Extension has a very long history of serving the citizens of Maryland. Last year, we served over 400,000 citizens of Maryland, including 50,000 youth and 5,000 volunteers. And Extension is viewed as a very trusted source of information and education. With Senate Bill 437, we're seeking funding for 2 positions focused on urban agriculture to address a growing issue of food insecurity across the state. These positions, as Rabin indicated, are focused on specialty crop production, farm business management. We currently have 1 individual located in Baltimore City, Neith Little. Neith is actually located in the back here. And she is the lead co-author on a handbook of strategies for urban agriculture success, one of the few documents like this that you'll find in the United States. But her position is a local position whose job description is tied primarily to serving Baltimore City urban farmers. The proposed positions would enable University of Maryland Extension to dedicate much more time serving urban farmers across Maryland. Through education, applied research, and technical assistance, we'll work to advance production of food in an urban environment, a very difficult environment in which to produce food. So many urban residents need access to food where food deserts exist. We know that much of the need surrounding food security is connected with the disadvantaged. There are several barriers to urban farmers that require education and training. These include financial services, access to land and buildings, pest management, labor, water, navigating local policies. These barriers make it very difficult for urban farmers to balance food production, creating jobs, and income generation. The University of Maryland Extension is uniquely positioned to leverage the proposed positions to create cross-disciplinary programs across agriculture, food systems, youth development, and the like.
you.
Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you so much. 2 minutes goes fast. 2.5, whatever it is we keep changing around. Mr. Ferguson, back to you.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. Colby Ferguson on behalf of Maryland Farm Bureau, and we come in support of this bill. Another very good bill, a very well thought out, a bill that I'm glad that I get to sit beside Chesapeake Bay Foundation in support with, as well as the University of Maryland Extension, because this is a bill that prior to coming on as a Farm Bureau lobbyist, I was economic development for Frederick County for 10 years. And one of the things I always saw was that the urban areas, whether it be the city of Frederick or you look at Baltimore City or even Rockville or different places like that are highly urbanized, very small parcels of land, things that don't qualify for Maryland Ag Cost Share programs or any of the other types of ag programs that are through state and federal assistance. And they're just basically, these individuals are on their own, and in a lot of times, a lot of them are immigrants that move from other countries here, and they know exactly how to farm. They farmed all their life, grew up on a farm, but they've never farmed in Maryland. They've never farmed in the United States. So they don't know about Food Safety Modernization Act, and they don't know about phosphorus management tool, and they don't know about nutrient management plans and all the tools and all the things that we have in Maryland. And so that's what these two our extension positions are to do, is to help train and help educate farmers that want to grow food in these urban areas and address these concerns, but do it in a way that's legal, that's healthy, and is going to take care of our citizens in the urban area. So with that, we ask for a favorable report.
Ferguson. Senator Hester, we have one more proponent. So if we could, if one of you could relinquish your seat, please. Why don't you stay with us, Senator McCray? But Human Haidarian from Fair Farms Waterkeepers Chesapeake. Welcome, Mr. Haidarian.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Human Haidarian, and I am the new Fair Farms Campaign Manager, which is a program of Waterkeepers Chesapeake taking over for Shelby Calm. I'm here and testifying in favor of this bill. What can I say about urban farming? It is a viable business model and production model. It is part of the solution to end food apartheid in our communities, which means the systematic segregation of people that have access to healthy food and those who don't. I used to be an urban farmer. I worked at Eco City Farms located in Prince George's County, which is the second largest area of urban agriculture after the city of Baltimore. And I know from experience that extension is incredibly important to support farmers across the state, and I believe that urban farmers also deserve and need that resource as well. It provides a lot of education, a lot of wonderful research tools that I've used in the past, and I've called on as a farmer, also as a gardener in my home as well to learn from. And if you have any questions about urban farming or why your tomatoes are not growing in your garden, I'm happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Haidarian. How about the basic how to keep a damn houseplant alive? That's my level of that, as Senator Washington knows too well. Although it's still alive, Senator. Truly. All right. She put some magic love into one of my plants. Senator Hester, followed by Senator Gallion. You start, Senator. Let me just, because Robin Clark mentioned that there were a lot of other organizations, we don't always do this, but there is written testimony for those who are streaming online and don't have access to the folder. And I thought that Senator McCray might want to know this. So in addition to Montgomery County Government, Marbidco, Maryland Food System Resiliency Council, Prince George's County, the Sierra Club, the Prince George's Soil Conservation Dinner, Rural Maryland Council, Buy Fresh, Buy Local, Clean Water Action, have all submitted written testimony in support of this bill, and there's information from the Department of Budget and Management, so as we generally expect. Senator Hester.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I just wanted to thank the bill sponsor for bringing this bill forward. I wholeheartedly support it. I wanted to thank Dean Beruti and also the Maryland Farm Bureau, who have both been very active in the Maryland Food System Resiliency Council, which we passed unanimously last year. Lots of good work coming out of that council around the environment, food security, farm to table. And so I just wanted to say, thank you. And there is a letter from the Food Security Council, although you're not testifying on their behalf, there is one there. So thank you so much.
Senator Gallion.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I appreciate this bill. We had the urban ag bill from a year ago. I was honored to be the floor leader on that, I believe. So thank you, Senator, for this. Dr. Beruti, with my part-time job with Harford County Government, I'm an agricultural specialist. So we are housed in our ag center there in Harford County, and Harford County Extension is right there. So I get to work with them a lot. Wonderful group of people. I just want to put a plug in for them first. But that gets to my question. Where do you envision these new agents being housed? Would they be able to be right in the city where they're close to the clientele? Where would you see them actually being housed?
Well, right now we have plans on actually building an educational facility at our Clarksville Research Center. And that's going to be housing both our Master Gardener program, and environmental horticulture, and we think that that might actually be a suitable place for them to be housed. These are actually going to be individuals that are going to be working around the entire state, so they're not actually going to be just focused in Baltimore City. NEAF actually focuses her attention in that area. So they're going to be centrally located and be able to work east, west, north, and south.
Thanks.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I guess a part of my two-part question happened to have been asked already, but I guess I'm a little concerned about the operation. You know, this is a big state. If you talk about it in Cumberland, then that person will eventually, if we need that person, would they come down to southern Prince George's County? How would that person, you know?
Absolutely. We have state specialists that serve in a lot of different disciplines, a lot of different commodities, and their role is actually to make it around the state and interact. But they are also masters at education and educating clusters of individuals. So they work one-on-one with a number of folks around the state, but they also have educational programming where they will work in regions and collectively try to bring people together to be able to reach them.
So who would pull those folks together? The Soil Conservation Service? Or
No. This is Extension that pulls them together.
Extension Service?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, I like the idea. I just had a situation where I had a group of elementary kids in school, and the community came together, seniors, and decided that they were going to plant a garden and, you know, teach the kids how to plant and grow, develop, and pick vegetables. And it's been going extremely well. It's the southern part of Prince George's County. Our only drawback was that they didn't have any means of watering the garden. You know, I mean, they had to get big gallons, buckets and cans and water jars to get any means of watering the garden. And they would even catch rainwater up the house because one of them said rainwater was the best water or something for your garden. And but they've even pictured a little video thing that got developed. But anyway, that person might be able to assist a small group who are farming. They're not employed. They're seniors. But I think it's a good matchup. The school is just walking distance away. The kids
Absolutely.
walk right by the garden. But we need some help in how to get some water out there.
You know, working with the youth is a big part of this as well. And STEM education is an area that would be expansive as a result of this, working within the school systems as well. We work with an awful lot of other agencies, so the University of Maryland Extension would certainly be a primary hub for this, but we'd be connecting with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, we'd be connecting with Farm Bureau, with Maryland Department of Agriculture and the like. A lot of networking that goes on with regards to this.
And lastly, I am a gardener. I have my little backyard garden. That's my hobby. I would like to probably talk with one of your specialists about testing the soil a little bit.
I think that there's a few of you that might benefit from that.
I didn't do very well last year,
That's
okay?
right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Senator, for this bill. It's great. And also, I love this extension, building on the model that the Chesapeake Bay Trust has demonstrated in extending your urban investment, and you have a dedicated a person focused on urban communities, so that's really great. So I think extending it to there. To Senator Patterson's issue, wouldn't also this officer be able to work with local jurisdictions and local communities on these issues? I know we've had that issue in some of our community gardens in Baltimore City where they needed to add a water line or find another way. Would this person be able to, work with local government, local organizations to provide some of these infrastructure needs?
Yes, absolutely. That would be the case. And I think that's why there's such strong interest when we were having these conversations during the interim from local associations of economic development, local soil conservation districts, and local farmers and nonprofit farm service providers in these areas, because they're the ones identifying the needs, but this addition of technical assistance can help to back them up in a way that's not really being done right now. So what we're seeing is the Baltimore City agent traveling to other places in the state. So this legislation should serve as a force multiplier for her work in Baltimore City and sharing those resources with others.
Absolutely. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Washington, I see no other question. That completes the hearing on Senate Bill 437. Handing it back to the chair. Thank you very much, Senator McCray and witnesses.
Okay, Ms. Clark, if you would stay at the table. You're coming up again on the last bill of the day. And is Human Hadarian here again?
I'm still here.
Final bill of the day. This is 601 Baltimore City Soil Conservation District. There is no oral opposition, although there's one letter in opposition. Senator, glad to see you in the EHE. Welcome.
Yep. No, thank you, Mr. Chair. It's great to see you. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and once again to the committee. For the record, Corey McCray, Senator for the 45th Legislative District. This bill is a very easy bill. I'll repeat again. This bill is a very easy bill. This bill just simply sets up processes in reference to our Soil Conservation District in Baltimore City that we'll eventually establish. This was recommended by the Department of Ag, so the Department of Ag was the ones that came in and made these recommendations. One of the things that it does is it notifies the committee, so the larger committee that handles the Soil Conservation District, of the intent once the bill is passed on a local jurisdiction. It also helps us to make sure that we recognize to the Secretary of the State so that they can do the seal and everything that is supposed to be done from their respective office. The third thing that this also does is it makes sure that it appoints a board of supervisors. So make sure that it's clear that it appoints a board of supervisors similar to every other soil conservation district. Then the last thing it does is it makes sure that the federal funding that comes as a pass-through to the state of Maryland to the soil conservation districts, that this respective soil conservation district will be a part of it. That's it. As stated, very simple. It also passed out of our respective delegation, and you have the delegation letter at your desk, Mr. Chair, and I just hope for a favorable report for Senate Bill 601.
Thank you. And Mr. Darian and Ms. Clark, in whatever order you choose.
Robin Clark with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, here today in support of SB 601. There, as you just heard, there are farmers in Baltimore City, so we need a soil conservation district there too. They help them unlock federal funding, federal and state resources. It's only the right thing to do. Legislation passed last year, providing the authority. I would portray this as a technical cleanup. Addition to that, it was brought to our attention during the interim via counsel to the Maryland Department of Agriculture that there were these additional process steps that should be codified. And so this bill will enable that and hopefully allow the Baltimore City to hit the ground running and start the Soil Conservation District. For those reasons, we support. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Clark. Mr. Darian.
Hello again, Human Hadarian from Fair Farms. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The only thing I would have to add is there are so many amazing urban farms in the city of Baltimore that I visited. I really do believe it's the hub of urban farming innovation in Maryland, in the city of Baltimore. So again, everything I said in my previous testimony, I think it really does apply as well to more specifically the city of Baltimore. I understand that Farm Alliance, which is in the city of Baltimore, also submitted a testimony in favor. They are one of our partners. I'd highly encourage any of the committee members to reach out and talk with them about their experience. They have many connections in the city, and as well, they are a Fair Farms partner. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Which Eco Farms location, Edmonston or Bladensburg, did you work in?
Both.
Okay. Thank you. Very familiar with it. Okay, thank you. No opposition signed up in opposition. Thank you all for your patience, your testimony. We appreciate it. Okay, committee, it is 3:02 and a half. 3:12, very strict, 3:12, let's get started. It'll give us 3 hours to get some work done. Take a break. Not too long a break.